Hey, happy Monday. I'm coming on today with a live. It's a little bit controversial, so I'm going to ask any anti-vaxxers and or conspiracy theorists to just leave your comments alone. Don't leave them on my feed. I am doing this for the benefit of the immune suppressed population. So I have a new MS specialist who I am so happy with. We've talked about me getting vaccinated and what the plan would be. And I'm happy that it keeps on changing because it makes me realize that he really is keeping on top of the research and what he sees as far as the ability of his patients to be able to make enough antibodies with the vaccine for COVID. So I am on a treatment for MS called Rituxan. It's a twice a year infusion. My last infusion was in June. So I would normally have another one in December. So initially he was saying, okay, well, let's just give your body 5 months from your last infusion, push the December infusion back, and that should be enough time in order for your body to make to get some immunity. So our most recent conversation, so what Rituxan, the medication I'm on, does is that it suppresses my immune system. And this happens not just for MS, but lots of medical conditions are treated by immunosuppressant drugs. Not only MS, but things like lupus and Lyme and organ transplant patients. So in your body, there are B cells, which are like the frontline army. They attack all those foreign bodies that come into your body, like foreign entities, so that you don't get sick. There are also T cells, which is like the backup army. So Rituxan, what I'm on, it reduces my B cell count to 0. So basically I have 0 B cells. So the vaccine that I got back in January and February, I didn't build any antibodies at all, and I was tested 3 different times to see if I had gotten any antibodies against COVID, and I did not. Very disappointing. I don't fault my prior neurologist for that because the guidance has been changing nonstop ever since the vaccines came out. I did follow the guidance initially, but it changed. So there's nothing that we could do about that. So now we're to the point where, okay, so everybody else is sort of coming out of isolation because they've built up immunity and they're doing life. Maybe they're masked or maybe they're not, but it doesn't matter. So with me, I'm back into quasi-isolation because with this variant, and I will add that my sister had a breakthrough case because of this variant, and she was very sick. And she says that 100% had she not been vaccinated, she would have been hospitalized. And that's what the vaccine never purported to say, that you weren't going to get COVID. It said it will reduce your chance of getting severely sick and being hospitalized or dying. So with that being said, so I have 0 B cells, and that's the army that fights. And in MS, what the B cells do is they attack the body, specifically the brain and the central nervous system, which is why we try to keep the B cells to 0, so that the body doesn't misfire and misunderstand that, the body is not the enemy. So the last conversation, so I had a telehealth appointment last week with my new MS specialist, and now the plan is, so starting in November, we're going to be testing monthly for my B cell count. Because it's at 0, I have no chance of building up any antibodies at this point. So we're going to watch every month to see where my B cells land. And once they get high enough where he feels comfortable that I will have a chance to build up some antibodies, that's when we go for a booster. Now I got Moderna, and they're not requiring they're not saying that booster is necessary just yet. I imagine that it's coming. It doesn't really matter because it's going to be a couple of months at least before I can build up those B cells. So each month we'll test, see where my B cells land. He said, they could come up slowly, 1, 2, 3. But when he's comfortable, and I trust him implicitly because he is such a good MS specialist. He has years of experience. He comes from a highly respected practice in New York City, well-known Tisch Institute for MS Research, and all the famous people that probably go there. And he was there for many years, and then he was asked to be the medical director at St. Barnabas in Livingston, and so that's where I've been going. So we're going to test monthly, and then when it's safe, when he feels that my body is ready, they'll introduce the vaccine, a booster. I won't need 2 shots probably, but that could change, because the great thing about this guy is that he understands that it changes, and he's on top of all the changes. And not only that, he keeps his patients informed. So that's the biggest thing that my former neurologist did not do, is inform people. And that was one of the things that I was like, I had already planned to leave, but that just pushed me over the edge. So we'll be testing monthly, and when I'm ready, I'll get a shot, and then we'll test for antibodies. And then probably a month after that shot, then I'll be able to get my next treatment. So my December treatment will be pushed off. But it's not like a treatment stops working exactly like at the 6-month mark. It doesn't know like, oh, it's 6 months, time to stop working so the new infusion can come. It's just, he said that it can last in your body a lot longer than 6 months, and I trust him. So that's the plan. And the message here is, if you see somebody who is wearing a mask, it's, first of all, it's rude to say anything just because if you're vaccinated and you feel comfortable not wearing a mask despite the Delta variant or any other variant that might be coming, because the longer people aren't vaccinated, the more time the virus has to mutate, and that's how these variants come along. And also, I'll add that I read medical journals to know my information. I don't read politically leaning things. Medical journals are facts. They're not politically leaning. So if you want to know the facts about what the vaccine does and what it is and what's in it, don't trust Facebook. Don't trust what other people say. Don't trust the news outlets. They're all politically leaning. Trust a medical journal. Trust scholarly articles. Do not trust simply because someone says something that's the truth. And so that's where I get my information, medical journals. So if you feel comfortable not wearing a mask, it's fine. Be that way. But do not ridicule or mock. I've seen so much of this. Ridiculing and mocking of people that are wearing masks without understanding that those people might be immune suppressed like I am and extremely vulnerable to a virus that could kill us, just because it might not harm you like it would me. Like if I was my sister and I got COVID, I for sure would be hospitalized. No doubt about it. I do not doubt it. So it's, first of all, it's rude, it's ignorant, and it's not necessary. I don't understand why we can't just be kind. This is a public health emergency. Politics should not play a role in how we attack the situation, so that we can all, not just the healthy population, but all of us, can get back to some semblance of normal. It's not fair to mock somebody when you don't know what their background is. And I personally have not been inside of a big store. The only place I've been is my little mom and pop pharmacy to pick up my medication, doctor's appointments, and Marty's Place, a dog sanctuary, senior dog sanctuary where I volunteer, where I have no human contact. Since like January of 2020. So like I haven't been anywhere. I don't, because I'm scared. I'm vulnerable, and people don't understand that. So I just hope that people understand that, you're not just talking about yourself. People also wear masks because they have small children that are not yet eligible for vaccines or can't make those antibodies because they're so tiny. So it's time that we all think about the greater good and understand that there is a greater good here. It's not just for you. It's for the people around you, your loved ones, elderly people, babies, infants, toddlers, young kids that are not yet old enough. And it's frustrating for me. It's as frustrating as it is like if I'm parked in a handicap spot and I get out and I get the looks or the comments, sometimes nasty notes, on my car because people don't think that I am disabled. And let me tell you something. I'm permanently disabled. I do not work. I'm on a fixed income. And I'm trying my hardest to stay healthy and strong so that my husband and I can have the best years that we can together for as long as we possibly can. And that includes me being able to, at some point, not be isolated. It's very hard to be in a situation where you're watching the world go on and you're still stuck in the same place. So I have a plan. It's not as, I would like to have things happen quicker, but I can't control it. And I'm glad that my initial plan got changed because it means that my neurologist is on top of it and he understands. And so he's doing everything he can to make sure that whatever happens, that he's continued to stay on top of it and he's seeing, oh, this is working, so we'll do that. And that is very important. So basically, the closing message is to just be kind to others. You don't know why they're wearing a mask. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes or under the surface. Invisible illnesses are still illnesses and still come with a lot of dangers. Just because you can't see them, it doesn't mean that they're not there. So that is my update on vaccination status and being able to combat the COVID virus, which I can't do right now. So just asking for everybody to keep their fingers crossed that I can as soon as possible because I am itching to get out. It's a very difficult situation to be in. I have a very small world right now, and it is becoming almost oppressive. So just think about others and not just yourself. And if you would like to discuss further, just slip into my DMs and we can have a nice little conversation about it. But in the meantime, just be kind to each other. You don't know what's going on, and let people be. They need to live the way they need to live for reasons that you don't know about. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.